So you're probably clocking 50, maybe even 60-hour weeks right now, right? You're grinding for that next big promotion. You're meticulously trying to build this perfect investment portfolio. And honestly, you're just doing everything society tells us we have to do to make it. But before we go any further today, I really want you to listen to this quote. I've seen very wealthy people with schools named after them. Nobody loves them. Wow, that is quite the statement, isn't it? If you're a young professional hustling your way up the corporate ladder, that thought should honestly stop you right in your tracks, because it completely shatters the typical, purely financial definition of success that we are so constantly sold. So, welcome to this explainer. Today, I'm stepping in as your career mentor to unpack some incredibly profound, contrarian wisdom from one of the most successful investors in human history, Warren Buffett. We're going to look at his rules for life, wealth, and lasting success. And let me tell you, his advice goes way, way beyond simple stock picks or balance sheet analysis. We are going to explore sustainable life strategies that fundamentally challenge this exhausting modern hustle culture we all live in. We'll break down his core philosophy into simple, actionable, everyday decisions that can completely alter both your professional and your personal trajectory. And this is absolutely crucial right now. In an era that's so obsessed with instant gratification and relentless optimization, building your foundation on these timeless principles is literally the ultimate competitive advantage.
Okay, let's dive into this. Our syllabus today is a 5-pillar framework for a genuinely prosperous life. We're going to cover investing in your greatest asset, rethinking formal education, curating your inner circle, playing the long game, and finally, redefining the true measure of success.
All right, starting us off with pillar number 1, invest in your greatest asset. We're talking communication over complexity.
Now, you might expect a billionaire investor to recommend, complex financial derivatives or some elite real estate strategy. But instead, he points directly to communication. He actually tells business school students who are usually incredibly busy memorizing all these complicated valuation formulas that they are completely overlooking the single most actionable skill of all. He argues that if you simply learn to communicate better, both in writing and in person, you instantly increase your professional value by at least 50%. 50%. That is a massive immediate return on investment. So how do you actually take action on this? Well, look at Buffett's own life. Early in his career, the guy was absolutely terrified of public speaking. He literally couldn't even stand up in front of a small room. So what did he do? He spent $100 on a Dale Carnegie public speaking course. He practiced and practiced until the fear dissolved. And to this day, he considers that simple, inexpensive course the single best investment he ever made because it unlocked his ability to actually lead and persuade people.
And this brilliantly illustrates his point. If you can't communicate, it's like winking at a girl in the dark. Nothing happens. It's a hilarious analogy, but it is undeniably 100% true. Think about your last big team meeting. Did the absolute best, most innovative idea win? Or did the best communicator win? You could have the most groundbreaking insights in your entire industry, but if you lack the ability to clearly convey them to your team, your boss, or an investor, those ideas are effectively invisible. Communication is the bridge between your raw potential and your reality.
But investing in yourself definitely doesn't stop at public speaking. It extends directly into deep physical and mental maintenance. And to explain this, he uses a pretty famous thought experiment. Imagine someone gives you the keys to a brand new car today. Beautiful, right? But there's a catch. It is the only car you will ever get for the rest of your entire life. Just picture how carefully you would treat that vehicle. You'd read the owner's manual cover to cover. You'd keep it safely parked in a garage. If it got even the tiniest little scratch, you would fix it that exact moment to prevent any rust from setting in. You'd be doing the oil changes religiously.
Well, apply that exact same logic to yourself. You get exactly one mind and one body in this world to get through life with. You simply cannot wait until you are 50 years old to start taking care of it. If you wait until then, your engine is already going to be rusted out. Long-term maintenance has to start today. So what are the simple routines you should be adopting? Buffett is incredibly famous for his voracious reading habit, consuming hundreds of pages every single day just to keep his mental engine sharp and to let his knowledge compound. Physically, it means prioritizing sleep. He famously guards his schedule to make sure he gets 8 solid hours a night. It means aggressively managing toxic stress by actually learning how to say no to projects that drain you. These aren't just trendy wellness tips, guys. They are non-negotiable investments in your single operational vehicle. Now, ironically, while he constantly preaches taking care of your body, his own diet is famously, contrarian. His literal daily diet basically resembles that of a 6-year-old at a birthday party. Hot dogs, hamburgers, cherry Coke, and chocolate ice cream. Why on earth does a billionaire do this? Because he discovered what he liked at age 6, and he just stuck with it.
He actually joked once that if someone offered him a deal to live 1 year longer, so making it to 89 instead of 88, but the catch was he had to eat nothing but broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and onions, he'd pass. He'd literally rather take that last year off just to enjoy his mental joy today. Now, the lesson here obviously isn't to start crushing junk food for every meal. The broader point is really about finding sustainable happiness in your daily routine. Don't punish yourself with a miserable lifestyle just to optimize some health metric. Mental joy and daily satisfaction are absolutely vital components of maintaining your engine for the long haul.
And that kind of independent thinking leads us right into pillar number 2, rethink your formal education. Specifically, is business school actually worth it?
So the crucial point is this. In our modern hustle culture, an expensive formal degree, especially something like an MBA, is frequently treated as this mandatory stepping stone for any ambitious professional. But his unique perspective cuts right through that assumption. He argues that education's value depends much more on the individual person than on the specific school name on the diploma. He notes that advanced education definitely provides a lot for some people, but very little for others. In fact, he points out that there are plenty of incredible, deeply fulfilling jobs making $70,000 or $80,000 a year where taking on the massive debt of college training simply isn't necessary or even useful. For a lot of people, entering the workforce early, getting real-world experience, and dodging 6 figures of debt is a far superior, much more actionable path.
When you really break down the pragmatic reality of college, the massive 4-year time commitment, the extremely high financial costs, the crippling potential of student loans, it becomes crystal clear that it is just not for everybody. You need to have a deliberate strategic reason to go. Please, don't just go because it looks good on your LinkedIn profile or because society expects you to. In fact, he shares this fantastic little anecdote that he actually wasn't keen on going to college himself at all. He just wanted to stay home, read his books, and start investing his own money. He only ended up going because his dad basically jollied him into it, joking that if SATs existed back then, his dad probably would have taken the test for him.
All right, let's move on to pillar number 3. Curate your inner circle. We're talking about the incredible power of association.
Your environment, and specifically the mentors you choose, will undeniably impact your career trajectory. Honestly, aside from investing in your health and your communication skills, who you spend your time with is the single most critical factor in your entire life. Because you will naturally drift in the exact direction of the people you associate with. Therefore, you have to deliberately associate with people who are better than you are. Look, you can't pick your parents, right? But as you go down the line, you absolutely get to choose your heroes. So how do you actively do this? You reach out to people you admire. You read the biographies of leaders who have actually built the life that you want, and you model your daily decision-making after theirs. Pick who you want to emulate very carefully.
And speaking of choosing your circle, he offers this incredibly witty but profound truth regarding the single most important decision you will ever make. Pick a spouse that's better than you are, and hope they don't figure it out too fast. Humor aside, choosing the right partner in life and in business is paramount. Think about his legendary partnership with Charlie Munger. Munger was never a yes man. He constantly challenged Buffett. He pushed him away from buying cheap, mediocre businesses and steered him toward buying wonderful businesses at fair prices. Finding someone who actually complements your weaknesses and challenges your blind spots is the ultimate career hack. Because if your partner elevates you, your entire life and career will rise to meet them.
Which brings us to pillar number 4, play the long game. This is all about patience versus activity.
So let's talk directly about actual wealth building. The absolute biggest mistake young professionals make when they finally have some capital to invest is that they confuse activity with progress. They read the panic news headlines, they get super stressed out, and they just constantly trade, racking up massive fees and taxes along the way. His advice cuts through all that noise with incredible simplicity. Buy a cross-section of America and literally just hold it. Treat it exactly like you're buying a farm or a local apartment building. I mean, you would never buy a farm on a Monday with the frantic intention of checking its market price on Tuesday and reselling it on Wednesday, right? That's crazy. You buy it for the long-term yield.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is it points out a massive psychological trap in modern investing. The stock market hands you instant liquidity. You can sell a stock for pennies in a split second, right from your phone. And because it is so incredibly easy to move money around, people are tricked into thinking they should move it around. But frantic activity does not equal smart investing. Patience wins because of the silent, unstoppable force of compound interest. By just sitting on your hands and avoiding emotional, reactive decisions, your wealth grows exponentially in the background. Staying calm and holding long-term beats high-stress trading every single time. No contest.
And finally, we arrive at pillar number 5, the true measure of success, love versus net worth.
We are bringing this whole explainer full circle now.
After you've mastered communication, optimized your health, curated this brilliant inner circle, and built long-term wealth, what actually matters at the end of a long, ambitious career? He defines ultimate success purely by one single metric: reaching the age of 65 or 70 and finding out that the people you want to love you actually do love you. It has absolutely nothing to do with your net worth or your fancy corporate titles. Think about how profound that is coming from a man who essentially won the ultimate capitalist game. The guy has more money than anyone could ever spend in 1,000 lifetimes, yet he unequivocally points to love as the only metric that truly matters. If you achieve this level of genuine love from your circle, you are undeniably a success.
As we established right at the very beginning of our session today, extreme wealth can sometimes be a tragic mirage. I want you to picture the cautionary tale of the isolated executive. You know the type. They sacrificed all their weekends, they missed every family dinner, and they alienated their friends just to secure that corner office. Sure, they might have testimonial dinners thrown in their honor, they might even have hospital wings and business schools named after them, but all of those public accolades are entirely empty if they fail their closest inner circle. If your own kids just shrug their shoulders and say, "Oh, he's up in the attic," you haven't truly succeeded. You've simply traded what is priceless for what is temporary.
So I want to leave you with this deeply impactful question to really meditate on as you head back into your busy week. When you reach 70, will the people you want to love you actually love you? As a young professional, I want you to align your daily hustle, your wealth building, and your intense self-improvement with this ultimate long-term goal. Invest deeply in your communication. Take meticulous care of your one body and mind. Pick the right heroes to guide you, and patiently play the long game. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I challenge you to start making these contrarian investments in yourself today.